And last but not least, let's celebrate 15 years of the OG MCU movie, the movie that started all, man, Iron Man. So I'm not gonna go into full details into what happened, the narrative of the show and whatnot, right? Because I imagine by now, or if you're listening to this, you probably have seen the film already, right? I'm just gonna mention notes that I took down, like just stuff that I was reminded of, like, oh wow, this thing, I forgot about this, or
Well, the main thing about it was the hype going into it.
Yes.
When I remember that Comic Con ad, we get to see the ship fly, the suit for the first time flying.
Yes.
Like, wow, this looking like perfect. They nailed it though. And yeah, even though it wasn't the best comic movie of that year, that goes to the Dark Knight, in my humble opinion.
Yes.
But this starts something big, and it's such a solid script, and I love a lot of things about it.
Me too. Yeah.
So, oh shit, I forget the guy. It's just slipping my mind what the soundtrack is, but the opening to it is great.
With ECDC's Back in Black, right?
Right, no, but the track they play when they to do the track they do for, oh god, what's the name?
Oh, you mean Iron Man from Ozzy Osbourne?
Nope, no, the track they do for the Apogi ad.
Oh yeah, which I'm gonna bring up, where they actually like replicated the '60s theme song, right?
Right,
yeah, they did that.
But that was on his phone, but.
Right. Okay. So I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Right. Purping in that. I'll get to that. Right. So there's a little pre-ramble about Iron Man. Right. How we got into this. Right. So for me personally. Right. Don't worry. I'm not gonna say too long. Right. So for me, early on in my life, never was the biggest fan of Iron Man. Right.
Yeah. He was a C-list character.
The reason for me was just the look of him. Right. For me, because I was just young and dumb at the time. Right. It was just something about the helmet that just didn't work with me. It just looked kind of goofy. And, like the skill sets and whatnot just didn't warm up. Don't mind, I used to play War Machine in Marvel vs. Capcom. I used to love playing with that character, right? But still, I just was not the biggest fan of Iron Man, right?
Use the cheap glitch and do pick 2 War Machine, right?
Yes, that was my shit. That was my shit, right? Yeah. But for me, like growing up, I remember in the early 90s, there was like this resurgence of there was like these new Marvel Comics TV shows, right? So while Fox Kids had Spider-Man, right? I think Fox did it as well too, right? So they put out Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And I like Fantastic Four. I like it. I don't love it. The theme song just was for me.
The Iron Man theme song was kind of that was a bop.
Yeah. Well, the 2 theme songs that they had, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, right. So also alongside Fantastic Four, which we got on CCN TV6, we got Iron Man, and I used to watch it, and I was still like. Yeah. I'm still not a fan of the character, but I like the show. I like the show for what it is, right?
What I will say is that Iron Man fit really well now, or at least the time when it came out. And for a simple reason, the War on Terror.
Yes. So and while I was watching this, I was amazed that it was just perfect in terms of framing him in that context, right?
Yeah, so he worked in the context. It's another character that worked in the context a lot better. Mysterio, the second Spider-Man movie. The movie not that strong. But it works so well into the whole fake news.
Yes.
Post Photoshop, post video manipulation stuff, AI stuff we get now, all this kind of weird to create more fake. Same thing.
Yeah.
It does fit in the time so well of quote unquote fake realities. I always call it about hyper reality, hyper normalization.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with Iron Man. This is so fit so well.
Exactly.
In the time period of the War on Terror. This was 2007, 8?
Well, 2008 when the film came out.
When the film came out, right. Yeah. Right. So it's just that workable conceit of he's a weapons manufacturer and he matter more than ever in the context.
Yeah.
And they make it work. All right. So yeah.
So a few things through, right? So cut to 2008, right? We got the first trailer for Iron Man.
Yeah.
It got us all excited. But really, the secret sauce though was the Ozzy Osbourne song Iron Man, just hearing that ding ding. I just saw it in the trailer. Mm-hmm. This is where Iron Man fires his shot at the tank and it blows up and he walks out like a badass. You just say that ding ding, and then as soon as you saw the title, you say ding 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 ding, boom, stop. I was like, I can't wait, right? But you have to understand too what makes this so fascinating, right? Because like in the 2000s, we were seeing our fair share of Marvel superheroes, on
Yeah,
screen,
yeah.
right?
It didn't
We
come.
saw
It didn't come.
Spider-Man,
Right.
we saw
Right.
X-Men, of course.
Yeah,
We
they
saw
had the
Ghost
thing.
Rider,
But Marvel finally got it back,
right?
and decided, and so they didn't get back the characters, and they just say, "All right, well, I work with what we have."
Exactly.
And this is before the Disney buyout, a little before the Disney buyout.
Yeah.
Still relatively small.
Yeah.
Still relatively.
So when Iron Man came out, it was like, okay, it's just gonna be another one of those, right?
Yeah.
But little did we know at the time that this was going to this was the beginning of something much bigger, right? Which
Yeah.
I'll get to it with my retrospective thoughts
Yeah.
on the film, right? And I'll just mention lastly, the sequels, Iron Man 2 and 3. Of course, not as great as
Yeah.
the first one. Iron Man 2 just had so much potential, but I just felt like it was just wasted in terms of setting up other shows and
Yeah.
other scenarios, right? And he's squeezing characters, but he's sideline other characters.
It's more of a shield show.
Yeah, like okay,
much shield stuff.
we're gonna bring in Black Widow,
Yeah.
great. And we're gonna bring in well, of course, Nick Fury had to be there. And and then they had this
And then
thing.
the stuff with the new element he created, I felt that fell flat.
Yeah.
that- none of
But
that
the
was
stuff
working.
with Justin Hammer, right, who's played by Sam
Which I liked.
Rockwell.
I thought he was fun. Yeah, he was kind of fun.
He was good, right?
Yeah.
But Mickey Rourke, though, I felt so sorry for him as
Yeah,
Whiplash.
and he was now coming off of the Oscar
Yeah,
nomination.
for the wrestler.
Yeah,
Because like in the
was a
trailer,
hype.
just him in that the Daytona 500 car race thing,
Yeah.
and him with the whips and like slicing a car in half, like
Yeah,
that was
badass,
a
yeah.
great sell.
And we get,
I want to see
the
that.
first time we get the suitcase transformation thing, that looked cool.
Yeah, that looked cool, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they just did not do much with him at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then of course they had to squeeze in War Machine because they hit that in this one here. I'll
Yeah.
talk about that too. Iron Man 3, I like this could have been in retrospect a great superhero
So-
Christmas film, like say
Right.
Batman Returns. But I just felt like I don't know. It's Shane Black who directed, by the way. It just had. Well, all right, like, I'm not going to disrespect Shane Black, even though he made one of the worst movies of the past decade, that would be The Predator, right?
Right.
But I just felt like it was just, he was like literally trying in his own way to replicate Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
Right.
that kind of style, which, yes, is set during Christmas as well, too. That they kind of forget what the story was about. It was just about character, this character, okay, cool, but let me get the story. All right, you want to show me Tony Stark as a father figure? All right, okay, but what about the story?
Yeah.
We come to see the Mandarin, and then I'll close this. Oh my God, one of the biggest upsets ever in comic book movie history. The Mandarin is not who we think it is. It's not Ben Kingsley, it's Guy Pearce? Question marks?
They
I don't know.
validated that later. They fixed it later. They kind of vindicated
it was
later.
a letdown, right?
But here's my take on Iron Man 3. One, the action is great. Some of the best action sequences.
Yes. Like the whole takedown of Tony's mansion.
Well, that's all right. But to me,
I
the
like
big
that. That was cool.
yeah, that was cool. But what to me was the big thing was the skydiving sequence. Love it.
Yeah.
Still one of the strongest sequences, and the ending was great. Number two, I thought it was one of the funniest movies. Him and Hartley was great. I love
Yeah.
that whole we're connected bit is so funny though.
It is.
That is that.
It is.
And then three, I thought the twist is good, but it needed a good payoff. That's the problem.
Thank you. It just didn't have any.
Yeah, and I thought it was a great twist though.
Yeah.
It's such a great twist. It's just they should not do the Guy Pearce thing. Like Guy Pearce was to me, if they right around him and figure like if you get cut him out or do something different with Guy Pearce, he was a weak link. And because so much of the story hinged on him.
Yes.
It didn't work. And then they had the what's the name of the technology that's turned them to fire? I forget the etches. I forget what it is. Whatever. It's from the comic. That comic storyline is one of the better comic storylines. I felt they could have done that better and handled that smarter.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a movie I ultimately defend.
Right. Well, yeah. Now we could jump to like how like the hype leading up to Iron Man and
yeah.
could talk about 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah. For me, it was the Comic Con. I remember seeing Comic Con the year before. That Comic Con was one of the best Comic Cons because there was so much effing hype.
Right.
That and Dark Knight.
Oh yes.
Was the two. And I just remember playing Gears of War, just talking about boy, Iron Man looking real hard. I was telling my friends on live. Boy, Iron Man, boy, that looking real hard, boy, hyping it up. He was playing Gears back then. I was like, yeah, it really was hype. I went to see that in CC8.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
I went to see CC8.
I will talk about the audience
we
reaction.
probably wasn't the same audience, and we didn't know.
Perhaps, yeah.
But I love what I love about this movie. It sets up the character brilliantly.
Yes,
absolutely brilliant. So when they open with the war sequence, with the Jericho missiles thing, then they get to him getting injured, and then they cut to such a brilliant framing device. So this is the song I try to remember. Damn Kid by DJ Bobo Robo.
Oh, that's the song that plays
during
the
a
promo
award sequence.
Okay, yes,
that is such a great song. That song kicks ass, right?
All right, I'll look for that.
Yeah, and that dum dum dum, and then, right. All right, and then they had this. They immediately set up Tony. What about this, right? They set up Tony as everything about that is correct. He's a genius in all around. Blah blah blah. He's summa cum laude, and he built his first engine at this age, and so bright. He's such a genius. Yes, correct. And then, passing of a Titan. And that little piece is great because it has continuity that they build up from since into Winter Soldier and Civil War.
Yeah, one shot I love though, and yeah, this is us getting in the retrospect part of things though, is just that I think it's a time cover, like a time front cover, where you see Obadiah Stane played by
Tony in the background. Yes.
Right. Well, is the one with him like looking down
on the earth, on the planet, on the globe? Yes,
that shot.
That's a great shot.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that was it. That little sequence is so well made and edited. And you know where they get? Oh shit! Was our voice actor name boy? Big time voice actor for that Judd.
Or I should look it up actually.
Yeah, look it up. Yeah. What's that man name boy?
Will Lyman. Will
Lyman, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. They get big names for this.
Yeah, they got big voice actor Will Lyman for that dread. I was like, yeah, because he's like a great voice actor. Like he's doing some fantastic. So they get him to do that little small sequence. That's one other thing about this. This is the first time we get a really good sense of verisimilitude. Like, yes, if Iron Man was in the real world, this is who they would get.
That's right.
For something to hype up Tony Stark in the thing, because they had CNN stuff, characters on Jim Cramer as a real world finance guy. They get who they get for news, boy? Somebody in the news. I think for the second one they got somebody in the news. Okay. But they get like real like Bill O'Reilly and people like that S&P on the news to get a sense of real world verisimilitude. That's like, oh, that's what they're doing in this wood. And then this sequence is so brilliant because Tony is not there. Yes. That is very funny and clever. And then Obadiah comes to take thing from
he accepts the award.
We call him Rhodey was there, like, hey, where the hell it is? And then they cut straight to the dice table. Love it.
Yes.
Brilliant, simple way to introduce a character. Absolutely love this sequence. And he's great in this. Robert Downey Jr. is so good.
He is great in this.
He was kind of his career was now ramping up, recovering from his like he had a lot of drug stuff and he was in a bad place.
Yes.
And he now come up. He just did this. What he did before this, by we call it.
No, there was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but he did something after that.
The murder movie with the guy, the psycho. Shit.
Oh, Zodiac. Yes.
Serial killer movie. Zodiac.
Yeah.
Right. They did Zodiac.
Right. That was a year before. Holy shit.
Right before. Yeah. And he's straight up Tony Stark in that.
Oh yes, he was.
And I thought this was just did such a great job of establishing this character, Dread. It was just so well done, dude. And then the movie built from there.
Yeah.
It built Obadiah. It all those shots with Obadiah and Tony. Like, this is great shot with Obadiah. The prodigal son returns. And the thing just cut together. Just watch that sequence and tell me how well edited that is. It's a fake thing, but it's really well edited and well made.
It is definitely.
Yeah, and I say the Will Lyman voice just pulls it together so well, do it. And it's like, the passing of a time.
Yeah.
And which is why and the prodigal son returns, and they show Obadiah, I think, in the background in the shadows.
Yes.
And he come forward, and that is a great like cover shot. It's like, it's really, that's what makes it smart. And here's the thing about this, right? To learn that this was supposed to flop and fail, they didn't really have a script. They was doing stuff like on the cuff about it, and what do you call him? Jeff Bridges was talking about it. He's like, this was kind of meant to fail, and it does a lot of improv. Just good actors being good actors. Yeah. Jeff Bridges, great actor. Robert Downey Jr., great actor. And they made us bounce off each other, Dread, and make it work. Oh, and what do you call she? Gwyneth Paltrow, great actor. Three, fantastic actors. He has fantastic cast. Everybody come together, and it's a solid plot and mystery, like for what going on in terms of like, well, what happened to Tony, and he had a little crisis of conscience after the whole thing, and they set that up, and then the Iron Man suit. That shit looked good. The whole building it. So the opening sequence with him with Yelchin.
Yes.
Yelchin's the guy's game. I forget the guy's
name. No, it is
Jensen.
Yeah, Jensen.
Jensen, right. That sequence is pretty good. So you get to see the classic the OG Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
They make it look good, it look great, great practical effects. I remember this was the sequence they showed in Comic-Con.
Okay.
When he was escaping and the guy put the gun right by his head and it bang and it bounces off.
Yeah.
Right, that's what they showed off for the first time, and everybody was really impressed with that. And I think it was a Hall H.
Okay.
In Comic-Con, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's the sequence we get to see for the first time, and then they show the scene where right after they show the part with the flying with the two jets.
Right.
I'm like, wait, I'm looking real hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to see the tank shot after.
Right.
That was it.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't see anything else. And then the movie comes on and it's like, it cut together so well. Makes it work. Yeah, this really starts something interesting, Dread.
Exactly. But quickly, Iron Man 2 and 3, just quick thoughts on those. I'm probably not going to talk about those when they get older. But,
nothing much to talk about in my humble opinion. Like 2 don't work. A lot of 2 don't work. It has some good ideas, some good conceits. Mickey Rourke again, coming off of his hype from his Oscar nomination. That was the hype. But yeah, I was ultimately really disappointed. And then I remember back then, I was like, wait, but this MCU thing done though. When that second movie come out now.
Yeah.
That was real shit though. Like it didn't work out. And it's still pound for pound, it is one of the weaker MCU movies in my humble opinion.
It is.
Like I still put it really low.
Yeah.
Like really low. 3, I give me defense to that. As I said, if it had a better payoff, it could have worked. If it had a better payoff for the Mandalorian twist, they ultimately validated and vindicated with Shang-Chi.
Yes.
But whatever. That's about it. But yeah, for me, the first Iron Man is a true classic. That opening sequence is so good. And then it sets up the main conceit of him building the suit. Him just figuring it out, working it out. They do something in the plot that comes back later with the icing problem.
Mm-hmm.
Just very clever. Simple script writing.
Yeah.
Because, he never solved the problem. The other guy, we call him Obadiah, never solved the problem.
But
Obadiah's betrayal is great. Like how he betrays him, that part we pull the thing out his chest.
Yes. I'm going to talk about that too.
Yeah, that's a good sequence. It got a little weird something. It built up one of the classic memes. Tony Stark built this in a cave with a bunch of scraps.
With a bunch of scraps.
Bunch of scraps. And that guy shows back up in Spider-Man.
I was wondering, if he was in Far From Home, if he was there.
Same dude, yeah.
Alright. Or he was one of the guys who was like toast. Like,
it's all him get fired from. It's all him get fired from Stark Tech.
Right. Yeah. But we never saw a flashback of him from that. So that's what was good.
This movie, so much of this movie does work, Judd.
Yeah.
The guy with the gut for I forget the guy's name, but he was the Tengrins guy, the terrorist. He was
him.
I forget the actor's name. He was in Star Trek as the captain. Who was the captain above Kirk's dad captain in first Star Trek.
Okay, Farhan Tahir.
Right, yeah, that dude, yeah. That's it. He was in Elysium as well. It's pretty good. He had some roles.
He was in Elysium. Okay,
yeah, he was like the president of the Elysium.
Yeah, I saw it once and kind of forgot about it afterwards, but I didn't know that he was in
that movie was hard. It has some moments. Yeah, it has some moments. It's hard.
But compared to District 9, I mean...
Nah. It's a clear step down to District 9, but it was still solid for what it was trying to do and see.
Yeah.
This movie really worked and really starts something interesting and brilliant. And one of the things that I like, and I really wish they bring it back for War Machine TV show, suits. So one thing I don't really like with the later suit is the whole nano suit thing. Too digital.
Yeah.
It don't feel solid. The first suit felt like parts moving. Tick, tick, tick. And a little thing came out, a little movie came out the year before. Transformers, and you really get a sense of weight and machinery and mechanical movements with that kind of stuff now.
Yeah.
And with this, you got that as well. You get parts and ping and metal hitting metal and stuff turning and like that whole scene where him getting into the suit for the first time and you have to go rescue people and they play the music dun 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 and the camera super around. I was like, they nail it though.
Exactly.
They nail it. They really nail it.
Now, as I say, Transformers, right? Now jumping into my notes, right? I actually recapped this yesterday, right? And it was really fun recapping this show. I was like, wow, I have not watched this in a long while, right? Paramount Pictures actually put this out, though. I mean, again, it's the people who brought us Transformers back, in 2007, right? But yeah, they were pretty much the house, if you will, where the MCU was being formed. Like, look at that, right? And then, well, eventually they left and did their own thing. But yeah, Paramount put this out, right? Holy shit, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Marvel Studios is involved there as well. I'm not sure if this is the first Marvel Studios film that we've gotten, because remember before was just always Marvel. You know what I mean? Like in terms of how they advertise themselves, right? It's just always the word Marvel. But I think this is the first instance of seeing Marvel Studios. I could be wrong, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, as I said before, this came out the same year as Dark Knight, right?
Right.
But so funny that this show kind of reminds me, for me, it reminds me of Batman Begins, right? Where it's yes, we obviously we've seen the origin story of this character, right? who is rich, a playboy, and then crisis of conscience, and now he becomes this superhero, right? I would say I really like the reveal of the 10 rings, right? Because I think like for me going into seeing this film for the first time, I was surprised that we were getting 10 ring stuff, right? I only knew about that through the Mandarin because Mandarin was the main villain of the animated series, which I mentioned earlier, right? Um, and it was cool again, tying it back to the War on Terror with Tony Stark being the prisoner, right? So yes, there's the attack at the very beginning. He's captured and whatnot, right? And there's a great reveal later on that a certain person paid them to pretty much apprehend Tony, and they
Right.
were
Yeah.
demanding more. So like in the actual video itself, you can hear them speaking Arabic. Yeah, they were telling the person who you're getting to. We know who it is, but we'll get into it a bit. Yeah, we didn't know that it was, well, now that we know that Tony worth so much more. Yeah, we want more money, bitch.
Yeah.
I like that. That was a really really smart call, right? Um, but going back to the promo that you said before, right, while he was getting the Apogee Award, right? Um, that shot though, just that with the newspaper where you see, Tony's parents, Howard and Maria Stark, died in a car accident.
Yeah.
I was just reminded, oh yes, and in Civil War now,
Yeah. Same date.
we see how that really happened.
Yeah, the
and
same
who
date.
caused it.
No, but it's the same date.
Same date.
They
yeah.
keep the continuity right.
Yeah. I like, wow, boy, like, we, like, back in 2008, we just thinking, oh, this died in a car accident. All to realize years later, oh shit, Bucky do that?
Yeah,
What? Okay.
No, in Winter Soldier, when they reveal that in Winter Soldier, it's like, oh shit, Howard get murdered, Judd.
Oh wait, they did what was it in Winter Soldier or was it Civil
No,
War?
in Winter Soldier, they just had computer brain fella, I forget his name. Zola.
Oh right.
When
you
Zola
do the whole
was showing the plan,
info dump thing
and
about,
they show we have to pick them off, and they show Howard name now, and
Right.
that was the big moment. It's like, oh shit, Howard get murdered, Judd. That's a real big crystal.
I remember that. Yes.
And
yes,
then so, and then he was like, well, the implication is that Bucky do all of that. That was the implication. You don't know for sure. But the working implication is like, right. So then, throughout the little period, it's like, wait. Steve didn't tell Tony that Bucky or the father was murdered though. Like, it had Ultron. It had, I was like, oh, that gonna be a bit, and they make you forget. They make you forget until the reveal at the end of Civil War. That's why that beat works so well though.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was great though, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and as I said before, just setting the story of Iron Man in this post 9/11 war on terror era is
Yes.
brilliant in retrospect now, because you have to give them a reason. You have to give Tony and Obadiah a reason to believe that yes, us building basically weapons of mass destruction is a great thing, because we have to protect America, right?
Right.
So it makes sense, right? I always dug the Iron Man references in the movie, right? So as I said before, the 60s theme song, right? I love that you hear this jazzy version that you hear, during the whole, prior to the whole acceptance speech thing, which of course Tony doesn't do because he's over, playing craps, right?
Yeah.
And you actually hear the song playing during that section. I love
Yeah.
that too as well. Points for having, Rhodes, who is
Rhodey,
played by Terrence. Yeah, Rhodey, right? Plays
Yeah, so
played by
Terrence
played by
Howard messed up
Terrence
himself
Howard.
with this, So from what I understand, Terrence Howard was being paid more than Robert Downey Jr. in this
Okay.
in this movie, if I remember correctly. And then he wanted more later, so that the bus truth.
Oh, okay.
See,
he was
listen,
greedy. I
this
was
is
trying
why-
to remember what the reason why he wasn't into.
Yeah, this is why Jonathan Majors is in serious trouble because, like, bro, they'll bust your throat for less. So whatever. But look, to me, that was a total trade-up.
Yeah.
Not only is John Cheadle looks closer to Lloyd in the comics, but he's a better actor. I mean, it's like my
Well,
question.
true.
It's like my
I mean, no
question.
disrespect to Terrence. No
No,
disrespect.
Terrence. I don't think Terrence bad. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Don Cheadle is like one of the best
Man
things.
won an Oscar for Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah, exactly. Don Cheadle to me is one of the most underrated things in because he's always nailed it in every movie, and I'm super excited for his show.
Sure, yeah.
He doing with his Armor Wars.
Armor Wars, yeah.
I think it's a movie now. Yeah, I hype for that because finally he getting a show. He should get a show, and the quality should be good. Whatever.
Yeah. So I like the fact that his ringtone is like this 5-second bit of like the opening melody for that theme song.
Yeah,
I thought that was really
yeah.
cool. Even when we're in Tony's private jet, you see a Ghostface Killer video in the background. Like Ghostface Killer always calls himself Iron Man.
Yep.
His debut album was called Iron Man, right?
Yep.
I always love that. Like, all right, John, you're thinking, John. You're thinking,
Yep.
Mr. Favreau. Nice. And I like, just going back to, the action sequence at the cave, right? When he's breaking free, right? I like that, it's basically the Mach 1 Iron Man suit,
Yeah, classic.
because
Yeah, the original.
the funny thing is, like, I didn't even know that that was the original look of Iron Man. Like, I
Yeah,
forget
yeah.
what happened. Like, I just got a hold of like an old black and white comic book, Marvel comic book from the 60s, right? I think it was for the Mighty Thor itself, but Iron
Right,
Man
right,
was
right.
there. I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
the
that's what
original
it looked
the
like.
original Avengers cover.
Right.
One of the early Avengers covers have that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
has that suit. Yeah.
Yeah, like I understand it. Like, it looked corny now, right? But then in the 60s, I imagine that would have been a thing, right? But
What made this movie work well is the contextuality of it. No? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they say okay, they had to justify why they could put that in it.
Yeah.
Here's how. And
yeah,
it is,
like
it's-
he's in a cave. He
in a
has
cave, right. Yeah.
these scraps from from his weaponry basically. So
Right.
yeah, he make this, right. In retrospect, it's kind of funny, right? It's kind of funny that they have like a couple security cameras, and you see like there's literally a shot where you see this is where not just Tony building the arc reactor, right, which he puts in his chest, but also putting this little mechanism on his leg as well too, because he got hurt, during the attack and whatnot, right? And the terrorists themselves, the Ten Rings people, like seeing them doing this stuff there. So it's so not the Jericho missile that they forced them to build,
Right.
but it's like, yeah, we have them captured, so let them just do this shit, right?
Yeah,
and then
they
it's
do
only when
check.
they realize, wait,
They don't do this
what
shit.
going on here? That's when they actually roll up.
That
there.
was funny
Oh.
because it's like they're a little too dutish. Like,
You
you
know,
just check the thing down, man.
Like
What,
you do notice it not building the missile, right?
know?
So what going on, right? But anyway, right? There's a moment now with Tony and Yin Sing, right? Yin Sing is this villager who's captured as well, and he more or less assists Yin Sen, sorry, right? Who assists Tony, right? So there's a moment where he says, basically Yin Sen, sorry, say that he'll meet his family when he's free, right? And he asks Tony if he have a family. He say no. So Jensen say, so you're a man who has everything and nothing, right? So I kind of see that, for me, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just overthinking things here. I kind of see that as a point that was brought up in Endgame, right? Where Tony had a wife and daughter, right? He married Pepper Potts, sorry, and he had a daughter, right?
Yeah.
And yet he was willing to sacrifice his life to save everyone, right? And yeah, just thinking about that though, just how he's willing to put himself on the line though. Like, I thought that was really brave. But I think like that line is like sort of like a subconscious setup for the sacrifice that he'll make in Endgame, right? Agree
Yeah.
to disagree, right? But yeah, the action sequence with the Mach 1 suit is great. I love there's this moment where Tony's hand gets stuck in between some rock. So yeah, you have the guy who, like, just like an idiot, aim at his head, and then the bullet ricochet and hit him in the head too. I mean, no, you don't see a headshot because it's PG-13, right? And kids watching, right? But yeah, that was just such a great moment, right? And yeah, of course, when he come outside and use the flamethrowers, and then he literally flies out. That's amazing. I love that, right? And yeah, I almost forgot that this is this is the movie where we are first introduced to Phil Coulson, right? Played by the great Clark Gregg. I like how, like me kind of thinking back, seeing the show for the first time, I was like, oh, hey, it's this random agent guy, but
Right.
okay, he part of something, alright, he part of S.H.I.E.L.D., okay, but you're not really thinking about it,
Yeah.
he's just there. But they always give him a reason to show up like 2, 3, 4 times, and then it's only in the end, which I'll close off with, that's when you see, oh shit, that's why this is a big deal. It's not just an in-joke or a reference. No, this is a big deal here, right? And just getting back to Pepper now, right? And there's a great moment, right, involving her just removing the original arc reactor.
Right.
Well, I think
This is a good scene.
it's more of an electromagnet magnum or anything else.
Yeah, this is a
And-
good scene. Yeah.
Yeah, and her just like waited out now. Like, there's a moment where she goes inside the little chest cavity. There's
Yeah.
like, oh, puss, I mean, and
Mhm.
it's just how Tony talking. Like, just be careful. Just don't pull those yank those wires. Oh shit. Okay, now I'm gonna get into cardiac arrest in about a minute. So you need to put in this and tie it back. Like,
Yeah.
all that stuff is great though. I really really dug that. Right. The Mach 2 sequence though is excellent. Right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing for me, right? Like, I would imagine, like, if I was younger, I probably would have watched the show and be like, this show don't really have that much action in it. It's just all build up and whatnot. But even back then and now and all too, I actually love these moments. I like these quieter, action-free moments where it's just about character development. It's just about, and just basically you're just seeing Tony become Iron Man more and more, like him designing the suit, Yes, he's talking to Jarvis. Yes, a pre-vision Jarvis, right? Which is nice, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just him forming
I
the
did not
suit and all
know.
that
I
kind of
did
stuff.
not know that was what
Paul
you call
Bettany. I
Paul
didn't
Bettany for
even
a
know neither.
while.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was him. It's like, oh shit, Paul Bettany in this? That's who? And like, oh shit, that's him, right? Good.
Yeah.
And this was after Priest. Because Priest is trying something with Priest.
I think Priest came after this.
Did it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember wanted to see Priest, and then I hear shit like, all right,
It's all right. I didn't think it was that bad.
Alright, good. I want to read the comics.
Yeah, the manhwa.
Yeah, the manhwa. Yeah, I want to see that, right? Yeah. But yeah, I love these. I'll call them training moments where it's just basically Tony trying out the suit for the first time. He's recording himself. There's a thing involving the kind of dummy droid. I thought that was nice. I love the setup with that dummy as well too, where it's talking about don't activate the fire extinguisher. Remember there was a time before where he tried to activate the jet boots and he fell, right? Yeah, and then in that moment he flies out and the music is booming. By the way, I didn't even know that Ramin Djawadi did the score for this thread.
Okay.
And this is before he do Game of Thrones, but like, what? Alright, Ramin, do your thing, boy, do your thing. Like he killed it with his score. The score was great in this, right? Really triumphant and just anthemic and just kick ass, right? But I love how this moment ends though, where he returns home and he's like kill power, right? And then, he falls, he crashes through the roof and into like the basement, basically where you have the cars, and then the dummy activates the fire extinguisher. It's just such a perfect end to that moment, though, going right. So this is one of those blinking and missing moments, right? But I just find it so funny watch it now, right? So the red carpet event, right, which Tony goes to afterwards, right? After that moment, you notice that it's held at the Disney Concert Hall. It's like, okay, MC, okay, Kevin Feige, you're like have all your fallback plan in place. So like, if Paramount drop the ball and say they want to do this anymore,
right?
All right, there's Disney, so let me just give Disney a little blind. So when we're ready, we can just join with them. That's how I kind of see it, right? But whatever, right? And this is where we get the Stanley cameo, right? Now you can answer this for me, Ricardo, right? But was he supposed to be playing Hugh Hefner?
Yes.
Because they say like so. Nice looking Hugh. Sorry.
Hef.
Nice looking Hef or whatever it is, right?
It's Hef.
Yeah, and he had the smoker's jacket on
right,
too. I was like, all right, I see you, sure, I see that was really cool, right? So about Jeff Bridges' character, right? For me, I'll never forget like seeing it for the first time. You're just seeing him in the background, right? You're just seeing him trying to be this mentor, if you will, to Tony, right? But I love, like even back then and to now, I love how this show just kind of, it doesn't like overtly tell you that he is the bad guy, right? But it always kind of hints that there's something kind of off with him, right?
It's just character framing since the beginning,
Right, but you see, when you really see it when you really see the little villain side come out, right, is where this reporter who Tony hooks up with at the beginning of the film, right, comes and starts showing him pictures of the same town that Yinsen was from being attacked by the Ten Rings, right? And he was using like Stark weaponry for that, right? And right there now, like he queries this now with Obadiah, right?
Yeah.
He's wondering if Obadiah doing some kind of side deal with these guys, like how they got the weaponry in the first place now. And then, Obadiah's like, let's just take a picture, right? And then, he confessed that he filed this injunction against Tony and all kind of stuff, and it's the only way to protect him, right? So, like, from that moment, it's like, all right, something off with this guy, right? But what I love that the show does well is that you're thinking really it's Raza, right, who's played by Farhan Tahir.
Yeah.
You're thinking he is the main body, right, because he's the one who running the Ten Rings, right? But you're just seeing Jeff Bridges there, but you're not really thinking about him as a villain because he's so closely aligned to Tony now. But that's what makes his heel turn, if you will, so brilliant in my opinion, right? Speaking of the Ten Rings, right, this is really like emotionally effective moment, right? Where you see Tony's watching this news report on the attack that they did on the same village, right? And Tony just get this motivation. He say, all right, well, he doesn't see it, right? But he wants to do something about it, right? So he has the gloves on, and then he noticed, I could use those repulsor rays or the repulsor things in my palms basically as a laser. And like he just starts firing off shots and whatnot. He's like, okay, I could do this now. I have a weapon now. And he goes in now. He goes into the village, and yes, that moment is awesome. It is so kick-ass though. And yes, for me, the best moment out of that sequence, of course, and yes, is one of the best scenes in the whole movie is when the tank fires at Tony, right? This fires twice. He just turn around, one shot, boom,
Yeah.
walk out in slow-mo because that's how what you have to do. You
Yeah.
have to walk in
Cool
slow-mo
guys.
from an explosion.
Yeah, cool guys
Boom!
walk away from explosions.
Yeah, cool guys walk away from explosion. You do that shit, right? I love that sequence. I love that, right? And it gets better, Jack, because the moment with him trying to avoid the F-22 Raptors, right? The jets.
Yeah.
I love that sequence,
Yeah,
right? It had, right? And yeah, there's the moment that you saw in the trailer where he like deploys his flaps and you just see him like the slide between the two of them, right? These two jets. I love that, right? It looked great in the trailer and it looked great seeing the film itself, right? But even that and all too have a great payoff, right? Because if you know, Rhodey was, he's the one who more or less running the show as far as the aerial stuff, right? So there's a moment where this pilot was trying to eject, and well, he eject, but he was about to fall to his doom, and yeah, Tony saved him, right? So they kind of had to say something to the media to kind of think that, and Tony was the one who suggests, oh, there was a training exercise. Like, no, nobody gonna believe that. And literally the next shot is Rhodey at the press conference said there was a training exercise and this pilot almost died, but thankfully he survived. I remember seeing that for the first time in theaters. Everybody crack up at that shit. It's just the timing, just boom, how it was cut. It was great, right? And there's a moment now where you see, Obadiah watching that same press conference now, right? And if at that point you realize that Obadiah is like one of the bodies in this, then yeah, you was probably sleeping through the first hour of this movie, right? But anyway, and I should mention too, Tony have some great one-liners as well too. I'm not sure if which ones were improv or whatnot. I would love to see or love to hear if there's like a audio commentary on this movie. I should seek it out. But yeah, like case in point, when Pepper comes into the basement and he sees Tony more or less undressing right from the armor,
right.
And he's like, "Let's face it, this is the worst thing you've caught me doing."
Right.
That's a great line. Like I love that. And just the charisma that Robert brings it is great as well, right? It's so funny in retrospect, right? That the two main actors with bald heads are the bad guys. So what you try to say about balding men? So balding men are bad guys in this film. So you have Farid Tahir who's bald headed. Well, Obadiah State's like, oh, and then yes, they reveal they kind of align to each other. They party Ted Riggs too, but still they bald headed. What you trying to say, right? As you mentioned before, there's like a great moment though. Well, in retrospect, how it's set up though is kind of the cliche end, unfortunately for me. It's basically Pepper having to log on to a certain computer to find some files, so Obadiah is doing some secret experiment, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
But they do the thing where she's in front of the computer and then Obadiah comes in and he wants to know what's going on, so he walks around the computer and then she's like trying to hide the flash drive or whatnot, and then like as she leaves, she pull it out. So like when he goes into the computer, like set up the display and whatnot, it's like, oh shit, she copied that stuff. It's a cliche thing. I've seen this hundreds of times before, but it works here, right? So yeah, Obadiah knows what's going on. He's being found out, and yeah, he goes after Tony, right? And yeah, as I say before, with him pulling out the arc reactor, yeah, that moment is great though, with him using that same it's like not so much an earpiece, some sort of ear device thing, and lets out this kind of this signal, the sound signal thing, right? And it stuns him. They say for 50 minutes, right? But I love the fact that if you watch it over again, it's a long take, and it's just him talking while you're just seeing,
it's a good sequence.
Tony like literally
and the
stuck.
pizza right there.
Yeah, and like his ears bleeding and stuff like that. Like that is
a good design.
Very well. But what make it work even well too is like, yeah, they pull the arc reactor out there. He just literally pull it out, talk some shit, and then walk away. Now that was really great, right? So of course, Tony gets his way in, and well, I like the fact that he took the original arc reactor, you know what I mean, and got it to work, right? But of course, he got Rudy to help him out as well, right? So Rudy now get like the one opportunity in the show to see like Tony put on the Iron Man suit, right? And of course, this leads to one of the most memorable moments in the film: Rudy spotting the Mark II suit and saying, "Next time, baby."
Yeah, well, there was no next time for Terrence Howard.
There was no next time.
Yes,
but I won't lie, when we saw it for the first time, we were like, yes, War Machine, bitch!
Because he wanted his money, he wanted more money, but he's like, he had to invent his own mathematics for that. If you look it up, if you know what you're talking about, if you know you know.
Yeah.
1 time 1 equal 2, look that up. So that's what you get. Alright, so it's about as correct as 1 time 1 equal 2.
Ah, boy, yeah. There's a nice setup with the reveal of Obadiah's Iron Man suit, right? So you see Pepper Coulson shows up with a few SHIELD agents, right? and he noticed the original Iron Man suit that Tony built, right? Because
Right.
when Obadiah went back
He take
to
the parts,
he took the parts, right? And Coulson says, look like you were right. He was building a suit. And then Pepper responds, I thought it'd be bigger, right? And yeah, it actually is bigger,
Yeah,
right? But I
huge.
love the reveal of the suit itself,
the
of
lights on,
Obadiah's
yeah.
suit, right? Where she's looking down at this dark, like, corner of the lab, right? And then you just see, like, and they have these chains, like, hanging down, right? Real horror movie shit, right?
Yeah.
And you just see the eyes light up dread, And it's funny to me, right? Like, how, like, when you see Obadiah, like, chasing Pepper, right? It's eerily similar to like when Hulk was chasing Black Widow
Right, yeah.
in the Avengers. It
Yeah.
has that same kind of like vibe to it, right? I thought that was really interesting, right? Um, and speaking of Obadiah, boy, that man get points for entrances. Though. Like I love his second entrance in the film. It's like Pepper runs outside, right, and behind her you see like these two tanks park up there, and like right in between the tanks and her, you just see like just somebody punch a hole from the ground itself, from like the pavement, right, and you just see this big hulking machine just come out, right, and it's Obadiah, and I actually like that suit though, like it, like in terms of okay, this is the menacing Hulk-like suit that Tony have to face. It works, right? I like that. It's supposed to be clunky, but it's large and it looks intimidating, right? So it totally works, right? And yeah, I won't lie though, like the fight scene between Tony and Obadiah is awesome. It is very, very, very Transformers inspired. With them rolling onto highways and smashing through cars and not trucks, buses and all that kind of stuff. It's very Transformers inspired. You could see that, right? It just takes place at night, right? How he defeats Obadiah, how Tony defeats Obadiah the first time is smart.
Yeah.
With them achieving maximum altitude, but it's like, what? Did you solve the icing problem, right? I took it, oh shit, okay, well, Obadiah did, so Obadiah is dead, right? And I wouldn't lie, like when I watched it over, I thought that was it for him. I forget what happens afterwards, right? See, I took it, oh, he fought his doom, but I didn't wonder, okay, where he fall to? Did he blow up anybody? I don't know. But I think that was it there. I think that was the end of the movie, right? But no, because as Tony come back down, you just see Obadiah show up right afterwards, right? And that would have been a nitpick for me.
Another change the ending. You could find extra stuff in the ending.
Okay.
The CGI stuff. You can look it up here.
Right. That would have been a nitpick for me, but what like though, because remember when you think about it, similar to when Tony was testing out that same altitude thing, yeah, he still have the jet boot thing, right? So he could always land. It's just he have problems maneuvering, and then when the power shuts off and all that kind of stuff, but he could still land in a sense, right? So yeah, technically that's what Obadiah did, right? So it's one of those little things I'll let slide, right? But going back to sacrifice, and yeah, Tony willing to give his life up. Yeah, there's this moment where he tells Pepper, and I like the fact that she's not treated as this damsel in distress, right? She actually has a purpose. Yeah, to press this button to activate the big arc reactor that was running the lab, and yeah, just the side effect of it just blew through the roof, and it ends up killing Obadiah, right? But at the same time, stuff gets exploded, and well, Tony's suit gets affected. And yeah, there's like a great shot where you see the camera zooms in on the arc reactor in his chest. And you just hearing the spark sound effect, like psst, 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 and you're just wondering if he's gonna come to life or not, right? And well, yeah, you see near the end that he is alive, right, and well, right. I love, they do the little superhero movie joke thing where you have this newspaper, giving the hero a name. It's like, oh, okay, Iron Man. I kind of like that, but Iron Man's not technically accurate. The suit's made of a gold titanium alloy.
Yeah.
That's a nice joke. I like that, right?
Yeah.
I like that. And I forgot to mention this too. I do like the budding love relationship that they give Tony and Pepper.
Yeah, they make it
like I like that. It's very dry in terms of the humor, especially the quips, and some of which I feel are improv. Like the moment with the red carpet show. There's a moment where you see Tony and Pepper dancing, and then afterwards, like they was about to kiss, and she's like, "Oh, give me a vodka martini with olives, a lot of olives." Like I feel like that's meant to be improv. I guess I don't know, but yeah, even at the very end, you could tell like they kind of want to hook up, but it's like they still work for me. No, I don't know, but I like that. It's cute, right? I also love how they referenced, from the comic books. Yeah, that Iron Man, the character of Iron Man is supposed to be Tony Stark's bodyguard. I like that.
Right.
And I love how Rudy wanted to use that. No, sorry, not Rudy. Coulson wanted to use that as a cover story. Yeah, I was vacationing and all this shit happened.
Yeah.
And
but what did it?
Obadiah was on a plane and the plane crashed, right? So
Yeah, what they did cleverly at it is the whole secret identity thing.
Yeah.
I just sorting that out. I am so appreciative of that.
Yes,
Plus,
I love how
sorry,
they ended with that. That was
yeah,
great.
secret
Yeah.
identities is kind of bullshit. You have to know how to write them, and they're almost written very poorly. Sorry, I like Spider-Man and Superman, but it mostly kind of dumb, especially
It
Superman.
just played out though,
Yeah,
especially in the
Superman.
Spider-Man movies. It just
Yeah.
played out. Like,
Yeah. So
you can tell me by now you don't know Peter is Spider-Man.
yeah,
Come
enough.
on, bro. Yeah.
Time to cut the bullshit. And in this, it makes sense. What they do with it, and this is what the MCU are like. The MCU don't really have any secret identities to speak of because those characters are already protected for the most part. Especially Rhodey and Tony. Rhodey and Tony. Although Iron Man 3 kind of messed that up a little bit because it was kind of dumb. But yeah, they're already big head of the corporations. People gonna come after them anyway, right? So them being an extra superhero to change all that much. So yeah, that's well reveal the identity. That's part of it now.
Exactly, yeah. I love, like, in that closing speech, the acceptance speech, or whatever it is, right? Well, the press conference thing, right? Where he really, like, talk about, like, you could really look at me and call me a superhero. Like, I'm not even the superhero type, or whatever it is, right? He says, right? But I just love just that line, though. The truth is, I am Iron Man.
Yeah, hard.
Everybody just reacts and it just cuts to the credit. I love that. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, yes, that's how you end the movie. I love that,
and
right?
then you tell, well, okay, so everybody knew you had to stay behind.
Oh, yes,
and
yes,
that was
yes.
a big thing on, at the time, it had a little something called dig.com.
Oh, that's how you found out.
Right.
Well, one of my friends who went with me, I think he told me, dude,
stay.
stick around. Stay,
I remember seeing it with
right?
my friend, and we stayed together and watch it.
Yeah, but I'm going to get to that ending in a bit, right? But, so, speaking of end credits, though, love the closing title sequence, right? Yes, this is the first MCU one we got, though.
Yeah.
What I love, though, in addition to having Ozzy Osbourne's kick-ass guitar riffs from Iron Man, right, is, the 3D blueprints of the Iron Man suits and how they all, multicolored and stuff like that. I love that shit, right?
Yeah.
But I love, in particular, how it ends with the SHIELD logo. That, to me, like, looking back at it now, that, to me, is like, hey, you think you're going to get up and leave? No. Sit your ass down. Wait it out. Because I imagine people would have gotten up at the moment they saw directed by Jon Favreau. No, stick around, you will see some stuff, right? And if I had left at that time, I would not have seen that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody told me to wait for the end, right? And I did that, right? And you just know when it's coming up because, usually the lights stay off, right? And, when
the cinema
was
done, like cogent to that too. The cinema I was in was pretty, that was 68. I remember they wanted to kick us out for at the end of Captain America, First Avenger. And like, no, you still have to wait too. Because that was basically a trailer. That was the bad scrutiny. But whatever. Yeah, they had they make it cogent for what it was.
Right. So now, let me get to that post-credit scene, boy. And thank God we stuck around to see this theatrically, right? So, Tony returns home, Jarvis is deactivated, and then you hear, Tony notices somebody standing by the window, right? And he does the line, I am Iron Man. You think you're the only superhero in the world, right? Great setup for Captain America. I love that.
Yeah.
In retrospect, that is great, right? The moment when the person steps into the light and you see is Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury, I went nuts. Everybody went nuts. We were like,
I thought this was the Ultimate Universe because of that. It's like, this is the Ultimate Universe. That's what they're doing. They're making the Ultimate Universe then. It's like, it's its own thing. But like at the time, it's like, they did tease Sam Jackson. The comics as, because he's looking just like Nick Fury. He's like, Nick Fury black now, but he's looking like Sam Jackson for some reason.
Right,
and then, Lord behold.
Yeah, lo and behold, right? Yeah. And then he dropped that line.
Hype.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Yeah, real hype.
Cut to black.
Yeah.
Eyeball. Yeah. Everybody ball.
Yeah,
people was clapping. People was losing their shit. We were all like,
that was
fuck yes.
Hype.
We cannot wait.
We can't wait.
Yes.
Real hype.
And that is such a great way to end the show off, man, right? So, in closing, looking back at this movie 15 years from now, this shit still works, man.
Yeah.
But the real reason why this movie works is Robert Downey Jr. He holds his film. He carries it on his shoulder. He is Iron Man. He always will be Iron Man, in my opinion. And by the way, R.I.P. to the character of Tony Stark, because yes, he's not with us anymore, right? He's not in land of living anymore, right? But yeah, just the charisma this guy brings, though. And it's not just, I'm just being swami because that's how I'm written, but you really buy into that crisis of conscience he have. You buy into how his character changes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he will still throw quips and just be like a smart ass, right? But at the same time, yes, he is going through a lot though, and that's how he's willing to put himself, yeah, just to save the world, but really is to own up for all the stuff that he was doing, just feeling guilty for making these weapons of mass destruction in the first place. It totally works, right? Um, you could argue that Jeff Bridges is not one of the best MCU villains ever, right?
I thought
But
it's
I
fine.
will say, as far as motivation goes, he has one of the best
Yeah.
motivation in the MCU thus far. That's like, okay,
Simple.
you this playboy guy, like, sorry, you are a prodigy basically, right? So you pretty much were born into this industry, right? This empire, right? But look at you, you're a playboy. You don't care about nothing. You just want to make money. So you can understand a guy like he just being selfish and being silent. Like, yeah, you like I love there's a moment where he says literally you was about to quit and you build like the best weapon ever, like
Hmm.
to humankind, whatever it is, right? Yeah, you buy into his motivation to be the villain, right? Yeah, just to be the bad guy. That's what I love about his character too. Yeah, he does decide, you know what? It's gonna be the villain, no. Fuck you, I gotta take over, Dread, because I could do this. I have the 10 rings back in me, right? So while he is not like like top five greatest villains in MCU or I would say comic book history, right? He's still one of the most impactful for me, right? And I would say, but really, truly, is just how his character develops. That's what make it work too, right?
Yeah.
He does not come out the gate and say, "I'm the bad guy." You're just waiting. You just kind of watch him so like carefully, yeah? And then he dropped it like, "Oh shit!" And now you understand why he's that, right? But yeah, I mean, everybody else do their thing. Whether it's Terrence Howard, it's a shame he didn't stuck on, but he was greedy. Let's be
Yeah.
real.
I miss him because Don Cheadle did so much better in almost every role. So
I know, yeah, he is, right? Gwyneth Paltrow is great
she
too,
was pretty good in this.
as
I
Pepper
really liked
Potts
her
as
in this.
well.
Yeah.
As I said, Phil, this was our introduction to Phil Coulson.
Yeah.
You see him later on in Age as a Shield and stuff like that, So Clark Gregg is great. Even Jon Favreau himself, me playing
Right.
Happy
Right. He
Hogan.
play Happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, he don't really say much, but he's there. But I like that later on in the MCU. MCU, he's given more to do, right? Especially in the Spider-Man films, right? And yeah, really true and true is just a very well made film. And what I love too, just to wrap it up here, is how well paced it is, though. Just how
Yes.
it tells its story. It's not jumping headfirst into like a big action sequence. It takes its time. It's letting the story flow and whatnot, right? But then when they drop the action sequence, yeah, it hits hard, right? So while it's not an action heavy film, it doesn't need to be because this is like the beginning of, right? Yeah, it still gives you the goods and more, man. It gives you a hero that you really root for. It gives you a villain that you despise. It gives you characters that you love, characters that you hate, and just a well executed origin story, man. And I would say, just in closing, easily one of the best superhero movies of the 2000s. Yeah,
Yep.
even though The Dark Knight is up there, that is top tier, number one for me. But yeah, as far as superhero movies go, in the 2000s, yeah, this is one of the best, man. Will I say one of the greatest of all time? I
No,
don't
I
know.
actually put it quite high. The first Iron Man I put quite high in the MCU.
Well, I mean that's in general with superhero movies in general, right?
Yeah,
Will I
no,
call
still
it one
pretty high.
one of the goats? I could.
No, still pretty high. Yeah.
And as far as MCU films, yeah, I could see this being a top five for me, man. That's mainly
Right.
because this was a movie that started off, and we didn't even know that we were gonna get a cinematic universe out of this, right?
Exactly.
And here we are, 15 years later, right? So yeah, for me, rating wise, like this a 4.5 out of 5, boy. This movie still holds up. I should mention the visual effects hold up to this day. They
Very well.
still
Yeah.
hold up very, very, very well, though. Yeah. And yeah, this is just an enjoyable film. That's really, really at the end of the day why I love it so much. It's just so damn enjoyable. You have fun watching this. You get your moments of seriousness, yes, right? But it is an enjoyable film, true and true, man. And yeah, to think that this movie kicked off an entire cinematic universe, though, is amazing, right? But again, RIP Tony Stark, man. This was the beginning, man. Thank you for this. Thank you for building them suits, Tony. I know that you are a fictional character, but thank you, man. You kicked off a universe for us nerds to say, yeah, we take it over, man. And to think it started with a box of scraps, right?
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. So, Ricardo, your final thoughts and rating.
Yeah. Rating. Love this movie. 9 out of 10.
Nice,
A lot of fun
nice.
with this movie. It's so well done and well made, and it really started with something really interesting and damn cool. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I mean, anything else, or that's it?
No, I mean, I don't say everything I need to say, right? You know, what I'm saying about.
Okay.
We covered. I know, yeah, it is a classic. I mean, it is. I have no problem. I put it very high in the MCU.
Right.
It's like
well, to be fair, Winter Soldier is still number one. Eh?
No. I put it in my.
with at least one of the Avengers movies, but
no, I put this.
Iron Man have to be in the top
I
five.
put this in not in the top 5, but
Okay.
it is like I don't know. I would around 7 or 8 or so.
All right, fair enough. Yeah.